Hey everyone, this is Angela from Art of Creation Homestead. You're in the kitchen with me again, but this is not to make a recipe. We got an email from a very sweet lady that watches us, and she asked a question that made me think, no, I haven't done that. She asked if we had done a video on how to preserve onions. And I thought, no, I have not done that. We've talked about growing onions and everything else, but we've never talked about how to preserve them. So I'm doing this video for you and for everyone else who wants to know good ways to preserve onions. So here we go. This time of year, around Thanksgiving, you're going to see a lot of stores that have onions on sale for a really good price. It's a good time of year to stock up on them while they're cheap. Well, you don't want to lose that investment with them sprouting. So, here's what you need to do. First, excuse the sound of my washing machine. As I've told you before, this is a real working homestead. Now, if you have grown your own onions, if you have grown them yourself, this is a little different, because if you just got them out of the ground, they need a cure time. You need to put them in a single layer, not touching each other, in a cool place where they will not sprout and where they can dry completely. Where the tops can dry up, like this is completely dry. This is a store-bought onion. Where this is completely dry right here, and where your papers get completely dry and your onion feels really hard. That will need to take place. You will need to cure them for about 2 to 3 weeks before you can start using them or store them away. Now, there are multiple ways of storing onions after the cure time. Now, the onions you buy in the store, like this one, have already been cured the perfect amount of time. So this onion is perfect. But the problem is, you don't really know how old this onion is. This onion could be 2 to 3 weeks old just out of curing, or this onion could be a month old. You have no idea how old this onion is when you buy it at the store. Now, while this is an organic onion, that still doesn't change the fact that you have no idea how old it is. There are several methods of storing onions. One, you can take a pair of clean pantyhose, cut off the legs, drop the onion down in the toe, tie a knot, drop another onion on it, tie a knot, drop another onion, and just hang it up somewhere. And when you're ready to use it, cut right below that knot and just let the onion drop. I'm not a real big fan of that method. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not a real big fan of that method. For one thing, any of you women out there who have worn pantyhose, you know, those things aren't that breathable. If you wear pantyhose, you're gonna get hot in the summer because they're not that breathable. Onions need to breathe. They release gases, and that's what causes them to sprout. That's what causes them to rot. They need to breathe. So, in my opinion, the best way to do this is to store them in mesh bags. Not the bags that come in the store. Not even if the bag looks like it's mesh in the store. They're all packed in this mesh bag. Way too many onions in one mesh bag for them to stay good, because they're going to release gases and cause problems for each other. I'm talking about these type of mesh bags. See? I'm going to open one up so that I can show you. You can see through them. They have nice breathable holes, but they're not too big. See? These are wonderful. And they have a pull enclosure where you can cinch it down. These are the best. I've got potatoes in this one. This one is a large one. The pack that I got has 3 different sizes: a very large one, a medium to large one, and a small one. The large ones I like to store our fresh harvested garlic in it. I also love to put my potatoes in it. I take them out of the bag, put them in this mesh bag, and they work great. They last longer that way. This is a small one. This is one of the small bags. And I like to put onions in the small bags. And if they're small onions, you can usually fit about 4 in one. You can fit more than that in one, but do not pack them full. You want to loosely pack them in here. If they're small onions, put about 4. If they're large onions, put about 3. If they're massive onions like this one, put about 2. And you get a lot of these bags in a set of them. I will leave a link in the description below to these bags. And once you store them in these mesh bags, put them in a cool, dark place. You don't want light hitting them. Light will help them to sprout. You want them in a cool, dark place. A place where they can breathe and it can be cool and dark on them. That's your best idea conditions for onion storage. And they will last, it depends on how old the onion is. They could last anywhere from a month to 3 months. It depends on how old the onion is when you buy it, and you never know how old it is, how old they're going to be. But if I'm thinking I'm going to use the onion within the next month, I will just store them this way. But after that month is over, if I still have a lot of those onions left, this is the way you do it. Now, you can dehydrate. You can dehydrate those onions. You can easily dehydrate them. You can freeze dry them if you have a freeze dryer. But what I'm going to show you is a method to use if you don't have that expensive equipment. This method is a way to preserve your onions without any expensive equipment at all, because those bags are not expensive. Those bags are cheap. Now, if you have a lot of onions left after 1 month and you're like, I'm not going to use all of these in time, they're going to sprout, then this is what you do. You take your onion and you cut it up. Now, you want to take off all these papers. And I'm showing you also a quick way to chop onions as well. Cut off the sprout end, this end right here, the sprout end. Leave the root end intact. If you've watched Food Network at all, you've seen people do this. If you're not into watching Food Network or cooking shows or of any sort, then I want to teach you something new then. You want to peel off your outer layer of that onion, because a lot of times the layer just under the skin is pretty tough. So now I'm using, this is a vegetable mat. You can use a cutting board that can go in the dishwasher or that you can wash, but I will tell you, do not use your good wooden cutting board. If you guys have been watching for any length of time, you've seen the beautiful handmade cutting board that Jason got me. Do not put onions or garlic on that cutting board and cut them. You will never get the smell or the taste out of it. Use something that is dishwasher safe or washable. Now, what you want to do, you want to make horizontal cuts. You want to put your palm down and you want to make, because this onion is big, I'm making 2 horizontal cuts. Now, you want to go in and make your vertical cuts. Make as many as you want, depending on how big you want the dices. But I'm coming straight down on each one. And for those of you who don't know, this is the appropriate way to hold a knife so that you don't get hurt. You pinch it right here. You hold the handle with these 3 fingers, and you take your finger and thumb and pinch right here. That's the most comfortable way to hold a knife. Do not hold it like this, because that finger could slip and go under the blade and you could chop down on your finger. Not good. Now you want to go this way. Cut down, cut down, cut down, cut down, cut down. Now you have these beautiful dices of onion. To me, that's the easiest way to chop an onion. But if you have a ton of onions to chop up, and you are like me, your eyes are extremely sensitive to onions, because I don't know about you guys, but my eyes are extremely sensitive to onions. This side I cut a little big, so I'm doing 3 horizontal cuts on this one. My eyes are extremely sensitive to onions. I don't care how many I've cut in my life. Lord knows I have cut a ton of onions in my lifetime because I do a ton of cooking and I use a lot of onions. Onions are the base of a lot of good meals in this house. So I use a lot of onions, but no matter how many onions I have chopped in my time, I still cry. Every single onion I chop, I cry. So if you are that way and you have more than one onion to chop, if you have a lot of onions to chop, this is what I would recommend. This is a Vidalia Chop Wizard. All you do, cut your onion into slices, peel it, all that stuff, set it on here, slap it shut, and it all falls down into here, all chopped. It's a good fast way to get a lot of onions done really quick. I will leave a link in the description below to that as well. Now, I'm going to tell you how to store these for long-term storage. Take your Ziploc bag, mark it as to what's in there. Load up your Ziploc freezer bag, not storage bag. Your Ziploc freezer bag. Load that up with your chopped onion. Now, normally, yes, I'm telling you to freeze them. Yes, I'll admit it, I'm telling you to freeze them. All chopped up and ready to go. Normally, I will teach you, like I did with the peppers, to flash freeze them. Lay them out in one single layer on a tray, flash freeze them, and then store them in the bag. You do not want to do that with onions. They give off a lot of gases, and they give off all this pungency. The problem with doing them the flash freeze method, everything in your freezer, your ice cream, whatever you have in that freezer is going to taste like onions. You don't want that. So I'm going to teach you how to do this so that everything in your freezer will not taste like onions. You have this bag. You want to, now that you have them all loaded up, and see, once they're loaded up like this, once you have your onions in your bag like this, and once you freeze them, you don't have to chop onions for your recipes anymore. All you do is take this out, mash on it like this to break them up, to break up your onions, because they will kind of freeze together a little bit. But do this, they break up very easy. And you have pre-chopped onion. You don't have to thaw them before you put them in your pot to saute them. Just put them straight in frozen. They will saute beautifully. And you do not have to worry about chopping an onion every time you need an onion for something. Brilliant, huh? Now, you want to fold your bag down really tight. Zip it shut. Now, you want to wash those oniony hands at this point for a reason. Now, I'm back with clean hands. The reason you want to wash your hands at this point, you want to take a fresh Ziploc bag. You want to take a fresh freezer bag. Open it up. You don't want any smell of onion on this bag. You want this bag to be completely free of smell of onion. You're going to take this bag and you're going to put it down in this bag. And this is the bag that you want to mark on most. You can mark on both bags. This bag is the one you want to mark on most. I haven't done it yet, but I will. And you want to fold that down the same way. Zip it shut. The reason I am doing a 2-bag method is that way you have no risk of any of these vapors from this onion getting into your freezer and making everything in there, your ice cream, everything in there taste like onion, because you do not want that, you do not want to dip you out a bowl of ice cream and have chocolate onion ice cream. That does not sound good to me. And see, you can smell it at this point. And that's the reason that's part of the reason you want freezer bags. They're thicker, they'll hold in the vapors more. You want to smell it at this point. And I smell nothing. That's why you had to wash your hands before you put it in this bag, because you have to get that onion smell off your hands. Otherwise, it's going to permeate everything in your freezer. Now, you can store this away in your freezer to use as many as you need at a time. You just use a little, put it back in the freezer. Use a little, put it back in the freezer. And you can keep adding to your onions this way. You can keep adding to your bag this way as well. You can store this in your freezer for as much as 4, 5, 6 months, and they're fine. And you never have to chop onions for your recipes again. I hope if you've been looking for a way to store those onions, I hope this helps. We thank you so much, and we appreciate you so much. We love hearing from you. We love your comments. We love the love that you show to us. We thank you for watching. We love you. God bless. And have an amazing day and an amazing Thanksgiving.